org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Attorney General Pam Boundies ordered the FBI to compile a list of what the Justice Department is calling domestic terrorist organizations. Last week, Boundies sent a memo to all federal prosecutors and law enforcement agencies targeting a wide range of people, including those who hold what she calls, quote, extreme views in favor of mass migration and open borders, adherence to radical gender ideology, anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, or anti-Christianity, unquote. The memo also targets people who show, quote, hostility towards traditional views on family, religion, and morality, unquote. The investigative journalist Ken Klippenstein published a copy of Boundies' memo on his Substack page on Saturday. Klippenstein notes Boundies' language echoes a national security presidential memorandum issued by President Trump known as NSPM 7 to target nonprofits and activists. Trump signed the directive in September in the wake of the murder of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. Ken Klippenstein, thanks so much for being with us from Madison, Wisconsin.
Shalom. First and foremost, and to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the one-third remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom. Lord willing, this video's edifying is going to be sent around the video that, Lord will, I include into the beginning of this video, which is a brief description of this new counterterrorism bill that's been signed into law by President Donald J. Trump that, bill title explains itself. It's a counterterrorism act, right? And when you get into this entire video that I clipped, right, from Democracy Now!, it goes into some of the details of this memorandum. And, it pretty much sets up the stage for this devil Esau Edom to make his move. All right, because it now gives them certain abilities to come after these different labeled organizations to be enemies of the state, right? So, and of course, there are the mainstream enemies of the state, when you go into Antifa, right? And these different organizations that have radical overtones, right? That may, like Black Lives Matter, right? That have these different ideologies that in the past have caused trouble, but some of the things being listed that they can come after you for, like anti-Christian views, is also a way in which he can come after the men of the Lord, right? Because we know that we are labeled as a hate group, right? In that you got different agents like Vocab Malone and, these different guys that have been set up to try to shame the ministry. All right. And make us look some type of way, okay? Twisting what we're saying and, whatnot. Ultimately, it's prophecy because Yahushua said it himself that, persecution is going to come. And this is yet another step in the direction of that to happen, right? And when you really get into it, it goes into pre-crime prevention, okay? So they don't even need to have you actually doing something to come after you, nor do they need authority or action that you've done to come after you a certain type of way, right? They have been given the green light to come after you if they deem you a big enough threat, right? Whether that's your, doctrine, okay? Whether that's if you are saying different things about the president or, whatever have you, right? But we all know who this is really meant for, because Esau really only has one true enemy, and that's, the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because he is at war with the Most High, right? And he believes in his heart that he can take on the Lord, right? And how is he going to showcase that? By coming after the Lord's men, right? Who's out there condemning him, okay? Because everything else he's doing, like, there are obvious injustices, but what about the things in which you've done to the Lord's people, right? Which the men of the Lord highlight and we bring out, and the judgments that are to come to what you did to the earth, right? The different ways in which you've influenced the world to forsake the Lord. Okay, all these things you have to answer for. Okay, this is Isaiah 29 and 21, that make a man an offender for a word and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. And this is all that is. This is a snare, okay? Because he don't like what's coming out. That's why he's got so many different he's got so many different laws set up, right, to try to entrap the men of the Lord, right? He's coming after free speech. Okay, the few liberties that we have, he's coming after them. Okay, because ultimately these words condemn him because we come straight out the scriptures. All right, and he knows this. Okay. And he's, at this point, he no longer wants to hear the counsel of the Lord. Okay. But instead, he wants to go forward with his plan to enslave the world via digital microchip. Right. So he's setting up these traps. Okay, well, if you said this about Christianity, then, now you could be deemed a terrorist of some sort. Or if you say this about the government or leadership of the United States, then, you could be deemed a radical. Right? And they're using this whole Charlie Kirk situation to do so. Right? That's how you know this. That whole thing was set up, man. And of course we've known this, but these are the repercussions of it, right? With every action, there is a reaction, and due to him being, unalived like he was, right, on live, the effect it had, these different laws he was able to push through the emotion of people, right? And turn aside the just for a thing of not, right? Because we're not doing anything wrong, okay? But it's wrong to him because, at the end of the day, we are exposing him, okay? And that is why, all this is happening to him. The spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is out for this man, right? And he feels the pressure. So he must act and make his move while he yet has the chance, right? This is Isaiah 10. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed, right? This is another form of his oppression, right? He's like a snake coiling over his prey. He's squeezing, right? To break down, the victim before he swallows it whole. And that's what he's attempting to do. That's why he's coming so fast and sudden, right? Everything's already laid out for him to just make his move. And when he do it, it's going to be very violent, okay? And when he, comes after us, it's going to be, as a lion, right? The Lord's going to put the spirit on him, to have no mercy, man. Okay? Because this is, again, Jacob's trouble, right? So the Lord is going to up the ante, so to speak, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. And that's exactly what he's doing, man. He's making a prey amongst the poor of our people, right? Which is all of Jake, all right? You don't have nothing, but yet he's taking, he's about to take, the little that you do have, which is the illusion of freedom. He's taking that away, right? And he's gonna, of course, come with his dramatics and his lies. Okay, it's getting to the point now you don't know the difference between real or fake and AI, right? Everything's starting to be more and more confused, right? Well, this all works for his benefit. For when he makes his move, you're not going to know what's true and what's not, because the world is so full of lies and deceit. Okay, he's able to pull off these different acts that previously people would have always doubted, but now he has to, he's unveiled, shown the ability to make anything happen, through his lies and his artificial intelligence. Okay, to where now you can't even tell the difference. So when he comes with, with this accusation, then, we're pretty much just going to be at the mercy of the Lord. All right. And I believe through the Spirit, maybe some of you guys, have caught wind of that. And now you're starting to switch up the doctrine and starting to backtrack. Now all these different doctrines are coming out about, Gentiles being able to make it and all this other nonsense that's just all of a sudden just making headway and spreading. I don't believe in coincidence, because this devil is obviously, lining us up, right? This is Psalms 140 and 4. Keep me, O Yahweh Ba'ashim Al-Shah, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have proposed to overthrow my goings. And you've seen, if you watch the video, you know, they go into how right now they're giving orders to conduct drone strikes on these different Venezuelan boats that they can't prove. They're not even providing evidence of anything happening or them doing anything illegal. They just, you know, knocking them out. Okay. And pretty soon that same energy is going to turn domestically to where, you know, they're just going to say, oh, that's a terrorist. And then, you know, send a hit squad to knock him out. And nobody's going to bat an eye or ask any questions. Right? Because they've already been conditioned. Right? To believe anything that's being told. Okay? And he's going to come down very violently. The proud have hid a snare for me and cords. They have spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me. Selah. See, and this is that gin. This is that snare that he has set for the men of Yahweh Ba'ashim Al-Shah and all of Israel. Right? Whether you subscribe to, you know, this or not. Okay? We are in the time of Jacob's trouble. And he's about to make his move. So with that, I give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Al-Shah, Ba'ashim Rakakudash Wa, Abba Ball, and DTADTN.